introductory video. This one is for my Year 10 class, and we're looking at how you find averages from a frequency table. My experience of teaching this topic before is that students often find this challenging, and so I have made this video to help you to look at some of the common misconceptions and become confident. So let's start by looking at a question. We have a survey. It's students are asked how many cups of coffee they drank in a given day, and we have there 0 cups, 1 cup, 2 cups, 3 cups, and 4 cups, and some frequencies. And then you are asked to calculate the mode, the median, the mean, and the range for this data. I'm going to ask if you would just pause for a moment, and I'd like you to have a think. How would you work out the mode of that, the mean, etc.? And then I'm going to continue in a moment. So pause now. And here are some wrong answers. The question is, why are they wrong? I've said mode's 5, mean's 2, median is 2, and range is 5. Well, those are not correct, but it's very common misconceptions people make. So for example, the mode is 5. People know that 5 is the most frequent. People might say, well, if I look over here, I can see that 1 cup occurs 5 times, so 5 must be my mode. It's not right. People might say, well, the median, I'm going to look at my cups. I've got 0 cups, 1 cup, 2 cup, 3 cup, and 4 cup. If I look in the middle of those numbers, 2 is in the middle, 2 must be my median. Again, it's not right. The mean, people might say, well, there's 5 different numbers there, so I'll add up 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 and divide by 5. Or I'll add up 1, 0, 2, 5, and 2 and divide by 5. Both of them actually give you a value of 2, but again, it's not correct. And then people might say, well, the range, it's the biggest number minus the smallest number. My biggest number there is 5. My smallest number is 0. So 5 minus 0 is 5. But again, it's not correct. It's a temptation with questions like this to throw the numbers around and see what comes out. The question we ask ourselves is, what does this table represent? So the first thing I've done here is I have created a column saying breakdown. If I have 0 cups and frequency 2, that means there are 2 people who had 0 cups of coffee, and I've written 0, 0. 5 people had 1 cup, so I've got 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So I can see, what does this table mean? 2 cups of 2, 2 and 2. Now, there are no cups of 3, so I've written 3 0 times, which means it doesn't occur. And there's 1 cup of 4, so there's a 4 there. So now I'm asked to calculate my mode. Which has the biggest frequency? Which number of cups of coffee occurs the most often? Well, I can see that 1 cup appears 5 times, so 1 must be my mode. What about my median? Well, I have a 0 and a 0, and a 1 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 and a 2 and a 2 and a 4. And I reckon that I should be able to look at that and work out what's my middle number, since they're all in order. So I could, for example, select the 4 there and a 0 there. So I'm crossing off top and bottom. I'm going to cross off 1 here and 1 there. I'm getting closer. I'm going to cross off a 2 and a 1. And I'm left with a 1 and a 1 and a 1 and a 1. So I can tell that my median must be there right in the middle of that data. Now, if I wasn't confident having that sort of layout, I could just write down 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 4 in a row and then work it out. But that's quite a useful way to do it as well. So I can see that my median is 1. What about my range? What's the greatest number of cups of coffee anyone has? 4. What's the lowest number of cups of coffee anyone has? 0. So therefore my range is 4. It's not 5. The frequency in this sense doesn't matter. It's the greatest number of cups of coffee, take away the lowest number of cups of coffee, and that gives me a range of 4. So once we break down what the table means, it becomes easier to see how to find the mode, the median, and the range. Now, the mean is a little bit trickier, and I'm going to show you how we do that. You'll see I've created another column which I call subtotal. And what am I doing there? Well, I'm looking at my breakdown. And I had 0 cups of coffee and 0 cups of coffee. And I want to know how many cups of coffee is that? Well, 0 plus 0 is 0. I have 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and 1. How many cups of coffee is that? It's 5. I have 2 and 2. How many cups of coffee? Well, if one person had 2 cups, another person had 2 cups, it's 4 in total. My 0 is still 0. And then I've got one person had 4 cups, so the subtotal there is 4. Now, you can do it from a breakdown, or if you think about it, you can just multiply the first column by the second column. 0 times 2 is 0. 1 times 5 is 5. 2 times 2 is 4, etc. What's important is we understand what we're doing. Because now I want to do some more totals. I want to know how many people took part in this survey. I know that 2 people said 0, 5 people said 1, 2 said 2, none said 3, and 1 said 4. If I add up 2 and 5 and 2 and 0 and 1, that tells me there were 10 people took part. And now I want to know how many cups of coffee did those 10 people drink. So I look at that for my subtotal. I know that there were 0 cups and then 5 cups and 4 cups and 0 cups and 4 cups. And if I add all of that, I work out that in total of all those 10 people, they drank 13 cups of coffee. So now I want to find my mean. Well, in total, they drank 13 cups of coffee. That was drunk by 10 people in total. So my mean would be 13 divided by 10, which is 1.3. Now, before I move on, can I just remind you of something I said in my previous introductory video on averages? It's really important that whatever averages we get, that they lie between the minimum and the maximum. So here, the lowest number of cups of coffee is 0. The greatest number of cups of coffee is 4. So it is important that my mode, my mean, and my median should all be between 0 and 4. Well, the mode is 1, that's fine. Median is also 1, that's fine. My mean is 1.3, and again, it's within that range. If I'd worked out something greater than 4 or less than 0, then I would have made a mistake. Okay, so far so good. If necessary, you can re-watch that video. I'm sorry I'm not physically in the room to talk through this with you, but I'm trying to give you a way of catching up and understand visualizing this. So here is a new question for you to practice. A group of college students were asked how many pizzas they ordered in a given week. 5 people said none. 3 people said 1. 4 people said 2 pizzas. 1 person said 3. 2 people said 5. And there's no information on whether anyone said 4. Use this table to calculate the mode, the median, the mean, and the range for this data, I'm going to invite you to pause this video. In a moment, I'll give you the answers, but pause that video, please, and try that. Then you can evaluate your own learning, and then I'll give you the answers in just a moment. So hit pause. And here are your answers. The mode, well, 5 people had 0. So 0 is going to be the most common. So the mode is 0. My median, you can see my breakdown there. I have 15 different people taking part. If I work from either end and cross off, I end up with my median being just there, and therefore it's going to be 1 pizza. My range, well, the greatest number of pizzas is 5. The least number is 0, so 5 minus 0 is 5. And then the mean. I'm going to do what we did before. I've worked out there's 15 people, and I've worked out my subtotals. So of those who had 0 pizzas, in total they had 0 pizzas. Of those who had 1 pizza each, between the 3 of them, they ate 3 pizzas. Of those who had 2 pizzas, between the 4 of them, they ate 8 pizzas. Of those who had 3 pizzas, there's only 1 person, so that's 3 pizzas. And of those who had 5 pizzas, there were 2 of them, so a total of 10 pizzas. If I add all those together, I get 24 pizzas, and 24 pizzas divided by how many people? Well, 24 divided by 15 people gives me a mean of 1.6. Quick check, are all of my averages between the greatest and the least? 0, 1.6 and 1. My lowest is 0, my highest is 5, and yes, they are. I hope this is helpful. You are welcome, of course, to look at the the Maths Watch videos to look at this further, but please do have a go. And yes, it's challenging, but these are key questions I want you to be able to master for our GCSE studies.